I have been a 911 operator for 6 years. In that time, I have heard thousands of calls, car accidents, robberies, heart attacks, house fires, people screaming, people crying, people begging for help. I thought I had heard everything. Then came last Tuesday night, 2:47 in the morning. The call that changed my life forever. It was not because it was more urgent than the others. It was because I recognized the voice on the line, the voice of the woman I was supposed to marry in 3 months. She was crying, hysterical, pleading for me to send help. But not for me. She was begging me to save the man lying next to her in our apartment. A man who was not me. Before I tell you what happened next, I want to know where you are watching this from. Drop your city in the comments. And if you have ever had to stay professional when your world was falling apart, hit that like button. You will understand why in a minute. Subscribe if you want to hear how I handled the worst call of my career and the best decision of my life. Because what I did after I hung up that phone, she never saw it coming. I met Madison 3 years ago at a coffee shop in downtown Portland. She was rushing to a meeting I was grabbing my usual before a shift, and she accidentally knocked her coffee all over my laptop. We both laughed. She offered to buy me a new one. I said just buy me another coffee instead. We ended up talking for an hour. She had long auburn hair, hazel eyes, and this confident laugh that made everyone around her smile. Madison worked as a marketing manager for a tech startup. She was ambitious, driven, always chasing the next big project. We dated for 2 years before I proposed. I took her to Multnomah Falls on a fall afternoon last year. Yellow leaves covered the ground. The waterfall roared behind us. I got down on one knee and asked her to be my wife. She cried and said yes. We drove back to tell our families. Everyone was happy for us. We set the date for June. We booked the venue. We sent out invitations. The wedding was 3 months away. We lived together in a 2-bedroom apartment in the Pearl District. I worked overnight shifts 3 or 4 nights a week. Madison worked regular business hours. Our schedules barely overlapped. When I came home in the morning, she was already at work. When she came home in the evening, I was getting ready to leave. We had weekends together. Hiking, brunch, movies. It seemed like enough. The apartment had hardwood floors and big windows overlooking the city. Madison loved herbal tea before bed. She did yoga on Sunday mornings. I went to the gym after overnight shifts and meal prepped on my days off. Everything felt normal. Everything felt right. Until it did not. About a month before that Tuesday night, Madison started coming home late. She blamed it on work. New project deadline. Important client. I believed her because she had always been ambitious. Then she started pulling away physically. Fewer kisses. Fewer hugs. She said she was tired. I understood. Wedding planning is stressful. I tried to be supportive. I cooked dinner. I cleaned the apartment. I did not ask too many questions. The second month, things got worse. Madison suggested we postpone our wedding planning meetings. She said she was overwhelmed and needed a pause. I agreed. I wanted her to feel less stressed. Then I noticed she joined a new gym. She went 5 or 6 times a week when she used to go twice. She bought new perfume. New underwear showed up in the laundry. She stopped making eye contact when we talked. Our intimacy dropped from 3 or 4 times a week to maybe once every 2 weeks. When we were physical, she seemed distant, like her mind was somewhere else. The last 2 weeks before everything fell apart, Madison went on a business trip to Seattle for 3 days. She usually FaceTimed me every night when she traveled. This time just a few short text messages. When she came back, I noticed a small mark on her neck. She wore a scarf to cover it. I asked what happened. She said she burned herself with a curling iron. I wanted to believe her. A few days later, I smelled cologne in her car. It was not mine. A woody scent I did not recognize. I mentioned it. She said she gave a coworker a ride. I felt uneasy, but I did not want to be paranoid. I trusted her. We were getting married. I told myself I was just tired from work. Then came Tuesday. It was February. Cold outside, about 38 degrees. I was getting ready for my overnight shift from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Madison said she was tired and would go to bed early. She told me not to call and disturb her. We kissed goodbye. It was quick. She avoided my eyes. I drove my 2002 Honda Civic to the dispatch center. On the way, I thought about the wedding venue deposit due next week. I still felt that nagging uneasiness, but I pushed it away. I arrived at the dispatch center and settled in for the graveyard shift. It was me, Jake, and Sandra, our supervisor. We worked in a room with fluorescent lighting and multiple monitors. The smell of old coffee filled the air. Police radio chatter hummed in the background. Jake asked me how the wedding planning was going. I said it was good. Madison was stressed, but we would get through it. The first few hours were quiet. A couple of noise complaints. One false alarm. At 2:15 in the morning, I ate the sandwich I brought from home and scrolled through news on my phone. Then at 2:47, my console lit up. Incoming 911 call from a cell phone. I pressed the button and said what I always say. 911, what is your emergency? There was silence for a second, then screaming, crying, hysterical sobbing. A female voice said, "Please, please help. He is not breathing. I do not know what to do." I switched into professional mode. "Ma'am, I need you to calm down." "What is happening?" The voice said he just collapsed. "His lips are turning blue. Please send someone." Then I heard it more clearly. That voice. My stomach dropped like I had been punched. It was Madison. I felt like someone hit me in the chest. My hands started shaking, but I gripped the desk. Jake glanced over and asked if I was okay. I nodded. I could not speak. On the headset, Madison was still crying. "Please hurry." My mind was racing. Why was she calling who was not breathing? Where was she? But my training kicked in. I had to stay professional. I took a deep breath. My fingers hovered over the keyboard to log the call. I kept my voice steady. "Ma'am, I need your location." "Where are you right now?" Madison gasped between sobs. "I am at, oh God, 1247 Pearl Street, apartment 3B. That was our address, our home." My heart shattered, but my fingers kept typing. "Okay, I am dispatching an ambulance now." "Who is not breathing?" Madison said, "my friend." "He came over and he was fine. And then he started choking or something, I do not know." I asked if he was conscious. She said no. "His eyes are closed. He is not moving." I could hear struggling in the background. Madison trying to do something. Maybe CPR. Is he lying on his back? Yes, on the floor. "Please hurry." I alerted the ambulance dispatch. "Medical emergency, possible cardiac arrest, 1247 Pearl Street, apartment 3B. The unit responded. "Copy on road, estimated time of arrival 4 minutes. I had to keep Madison on the line until the ambulance arrived." "Ma'am, I need you to start chest compressions. Place your hands in the center of his chest." Madison said she did not know how. I walked her through it. Each instruction felt like a knife in my heart. I was helping her save the man in her arms. The man in our apartment. Our home. Probably our bed. Madison did not recognize my voice. She was too panicked. My work voice was different from my home voice. Professional. Controlled. Plus the phone distortion masked it. In the background, I heard the paramedics arrive. Madison said, "They are here. Thank God they are here." A paramedic voice came through. "Ma'am, step back, please." "What is his name?" Madison answered. "Derek. Derek Morrison. He is 35. I typed the name into the log. The paramedic asked how long he had been unresponsive. Madison said maybe 5 minutes. We were, and then he just... She did not finish the sentence. But I understood. We were. Meaning they were together. Intimate. Then he collapsed. The paramedic asked about medications and allergies. Madison said she did not know. They had not, she meant. Meaning their relationship was not serious enough for her to know his medical history. Just serious enough to betray me. The paramedic said they needed to transport him. Are you family? Madison hesitated. No, I am his. We are. She could not say girlfriend because she was wearing my engagement ring. She settled on I am a close friend. The paramedic said she could follow to Providence Hospital if she wanted. She said yes, she would follow. Madison was still on the phone with me. Is there anything else I need to do? My voice sounded hollow even to my own ears. No, ma'am. Emergency services are with him now. They will take good care of him. Madison said thank you. Thank you so much. Then she hung up. Click. She did not know who she just thanked. She did not know her fiancé had just saved her lover's life. I sat in silence. Jake asked if it was a rough one. I said yeah. Rough one. I took off my headset with shaking hands. I looked at the computer screen. The call log stared back at me. Timestamp 2:47 a.m. to 2:59 a.m. Duration 12 minutes. 12 minutes that ended a 3-year relationship. I stood up. My legs felt unsteady. Jake asked again if I was sure I was good. I said I needed a minute. I walked to the break room. It was empty at 3 in the morning. I leaned against the wall and slid down to the floor. I put my hands over my face. I did not cry. I was too shocked for tears. My mind kept replaying everything. Madison's voice. My friend. The address. Derek's name. Anger started building inside me. Not explosive anger. Cold anger. She called 911 for her lover. In our home. Probably in our bed. While wearing the ring I gave her. I sat there for maybe 10 minutes. Then something shifted. The anger turned into resolution. I was not going to fall apart. I was not going to confront her screaming and crying. I was going to handle this my way. Calmly. Deliberately. I stood up and splashed water on my face. I looked in the bathroom mirror. My eyes were red but dry. I said to my reflection, "You deserve better than this." I walked back to the console. Jake asked if I was back. I said yeah. Then I asked if he could cover the rest of my shift. Jake looked confused. Why you okay? I told him it was a family emergency. I would owe him one. He studied my face. This about that call, I said something like that. He nodded. All right, man. Go. I got you. I logged out, grabbed my keys and jacket. Sandra approved my early leave. The clock read 3:17 a.m. Madison should still be at the hospital. Perfect timing. I drove through empty Portland streets. Rain started falling. Typical February weather. The windshield wipers moved back and forth in a rhythm. I was not thinking about what to say to Madison. I was thinking about what to do. By the time I parked outside our apartment building, I had a plan. I unlocked the door at 3:34 in the morning. The apartment was quiet and dark. I flipped on the living room light. At first everything looked normal. Then I saw them. 2 wine glasses on the coffee table. Red wine. The bottle was half empty. Madison's heels were by the door. She always kicked them off when she got home. A men's jacket lay on the couch. Leather. Expensive. Not mine. It was a size large. I wore medium. The smell of cologne hung thick in the air. Woody. Unfamiliar. The same scent from her car. I walked to the bedroom and pushed the door open. The bed was unmade. Sheets tangled. Madison's dress was on the floor. The red one. I had complimented her on it last week. A men's shirt lay beside it. Button up. Designer brand. A men's watch sat on the nightstand. Rolex. Engraved with the initials DM Derek Morrison. I picked up the watch. It felt heavy in my palm. I set it down carefully. I was not angry now. Just cold. Documenting. I took photos with my phone. The bed. The clothes. The wine glasses. The jacket. Not for revenge. For myself. To remember this was not my imagination. I went to the bathroom. There was an extra toothbrush in the holder. Navy blue. Not mine. I used a green one. Men's deodorant sat in the cabinet. A different brand from mine. I looked in the trash can. A condom wrapper. I stared at it for a long moment. They used protection with each other. Madison always said we should be safe. The irony was not lost on me. I did not touch anything. I just observed, documented mentally. I walked back to the living room and sat on the couch. Not the bed. I would never go into that bedroom again. I pulled out my phone and made my first call. Budget Moving Company, 24-hour hotline. A woman answered. I said I needed a truck and 2 movers today as soon as possible. She said the earliest availability was 8 a.m. I asked how much for 3 hours. She quoted me a price. I booked it and gave her the address. Second call. Locksmith. I found one with emergency services. I said I needed all the locks changed in my apartment today. When could they come? The locksmith said he had a slot at noon. I took it. Third call. Mrs. Patterson, Madison's mother. I knew this would be hard, but it had to be done. The phone rang 4 times. It was 4 in the morning. Mrs. Patterson answered, her voice groggy. Hello, I said. Mrs. Patterson, it is Colton. I am sorry to call so early. She sounded more alert. Colton. What is wrong? Is Madison okay? I told her Madison was fine. She was at Providence Hospital with a friend. But I needed to ask her something. Mrs. Patterson asked what friend? What hospital? I asked if Madison could stay with her for a while starting today. There was a pause. What happened? I said I would rather not get into details, but our engagement was over. Her things would be delivered to her place this afternoon. Was that all right? Silence on the line. Then Mrs. Patterson's voice, sad and understanding. Oh, Colton, did she? I said, yes, ma'am. She sighed. I am so sorry. Yes, of course she can stay here. I do not know what to say. I told her she did not need to say anything. Thank you. I hung up. Mrs. Patterson probably suspected what happened, but did not know the details yet. At 5 in the morning, I started packing. I went to the bedroom and pulled Madison's suitcases from the closet. Her 3-piece luggage set. I opened her dresser drawers. Clothes, jewelry, makeup. I packed everything systematically. Not angry throwing, careful folding. Each item brought a memory. The sweater she wore on our first hiking trip. The dress from our anniversary dinner. The earrings I gave her last Christmas. I did not linger. I kept moving. I emptied her closet. Dresses, shoes, coats. I filled 2 suitcases and started on boxes from our storage unit. I packed her toiletries from the bathroom, skincare, makeup, hair products. In the living room, I gathered her books, decorations, and framed photos. I took down all the couple photos from the walls. I left the frames but took only her solo pictures. The movers arrived at 8:03 in the morning. 2 guys, Carlos and Mike. Professional and efficient. Carlos asked what they were moving today. I pointed to the pile of suitcases, boxes, and items. Everything here needs to go to this address. I handed him a piece of paper with Mrs. Patterson's address. Mike looked at the pile. Just this should not take long. I told them to take their time and be careful with everything. They loaded everything into the truck. Suitcases, boxes, her small bookshelf, the floor lamp she loved, her yoga mat, meditation cushion. From the kitchen, her special coffee maker and her collection of ceramic mugs. I was not splitting shared items. Anything that was hers or she might want it went. Anything we bought together, it stayed. The whole process took 90 minutes. When they finished, I tipped them an extra $50 cash. While the movers worked, I wrote a note. Simple. On plain paper. Madison, your belongings are at your mother's house. Keys to the apartment are on the kitchen counter. Locks will be changed by this afternoon. Do not try to contact me. We are done. Colton. I left the note on the counter and weighted it down with her apartment key. I removed her key from my keyring. There was a satisfying click as it separated. At 9:47 in the morning, my phone buzzed. A text from Madison. Derek is stable. They are keeping him overnight. Heading home soon. Love you. Those words, love you, they meant nothing now. I replied with 2 words. Check your email. Then I composed an email on my phone. Madison, I was your 911 operator last night. I heard everything. Your things are at your mother's house. Do not come back to the apartment. Lose my number. Colton, I hit send. Then I blocked her number. Blocked her on social media. Deleted her photos from my phone. I had backups on my computer if I needed them later for closure, but I did not think I would. The locksmith arrived at 12:15 in the afternoon. An older man named Larry. He had a seen-it-all expression. Changing locks, huh, breakup? I said something like that. He nodded. Say no more. I do 3 of these a week. He changed the front door deadbolt and handle. Gave me 3 new keys. He said, fresh start, buddy. You will be all right. I told him, yeah, I will. I paid him cash. He left. I tested the new lock. Solid. Secure. Madison could not get in. Perfect. I imagined what was happening on Madison's end. Around 10:52 in the morning, she would be in the hospital parking lot checking her phone. She would see my text. Check your email. Confused, she would open her email app. Read my message. Her face would go pale. Realization would hit. I knew. I was the operator. I heard her call 911 for Derek. Panic would set in. She would try calling me. Straight to voicemail. Blocked. She would try texting. Messages would not deliver. Blocked. She would check Instagram. Could not find my profile. Blocked. Facebook. Same thing. All blocked. Around 11:30, Madison would drive home. She would park and rush upstairs. Put her key in the lock. It would not turn. She would try again. Still nothing. Panic would increase. She would knock. Colton, Colton, please. I can explain silence. I was not home. I left at 10 in the morning. Went to the gym. Then to a coffee shop. Madison would keep knocking. Please, it is not what you think. The neighbor, Mrs. Kowalski, would open her door. He is not home, dear. Madison would ask when I would be back. Mrs. Kowalski would say I left with a duffel bag and did not say when I would return. Madison would slide down against the door, crying. Over the next several hours, Madison would leave voicemails. My phone saved them to a separate blocked folder. I imagined what they said. The first one at 12:03. Colton, please. Please pick up. I can explain everything. It was a mistake. Derek means nothing. Please. The second at 12:47. I know you are angry. You have every right. But we can work through this. 3 years, Colton. Do not throw it away. The third at 1:56. I talked to my mom. She said you sent my stuff. Please do not do this. I love you. I made a mistake, but I love you. The fourth at 3:34. Fine. If you will not answer, I will. I do not know what I will do. But this is not over. We are engaged, Colton. The fifth at 5:12. Derek and I, it was only 2 months. It did not mean anything. He was just, you are always working nights, and I was lonely, and please call me back. I never listened to any of them. I deleted the folder without opening it. The first few days I stayed at Jake's place. He had a spare bedroom and told me to stay as long as I needed. Jake's girlfriend Emma lived there too. She made extra food and was kind. She said what Madison did was awful, and I handled it with class. I appreciated the kindness, but mostly I just wanted space. I went to work, came back, slept. I did not talk much. I was still processing everything. Emotions came in waves. Anger, sadness, relief, confusion. Mostly relief. Relief that I found out before the wedding. Before we had kids. Before I wasted more years on someone who did not respect me. Between day 4 and day 7, I started getting messages from Madison's family. Mrs. Patterson texted, "Colton, I am sorry for what Madison did. You deserved better." "Wishing you peace," I replied. "Thank you. I appreciate you." Madison's sister Claire texted next. "Madison is devastated. She will not eat. She keeps crying. I know she messed up, but please talk to her." I did not reply. Madison's father called. I did not answer. Mutual friends started texting. "What happened? Madison says you will not talk to her." I sent the same message to everyone. "It is personal. Please respect my privacy." Some friends picked sides. 2 of Madison's college friends unfriended me on social media. That was fine. It showed who they really were. My real friends supported me fully. Jake, my college buddy Marcus, my cousin Tyler. They all had my back. In week 2, I moved back to the apartment. It was my lease. I paid the majority of the rent. The apartment felt empty, but also lighter. No more walking on eggshells. No more wondering where she was or who she was with. I redecorated slightly, bought new bedding and threw out the old sheets, rearranged the furniture, bought a snake plant because they are hard to kill. I got back into my hobbies. Running. I joined a running group and met new people. I ran 5 miles 3 times a week. Reading. I finished 2 books I had been meaning to read for months. Cooking. I experimented with new recipes and meal prepped healthy food. Work became therapeutic. Every call I took, I helped someone. My purpose refocused. Jake noticed the change. "You seem better," he said one day. I told him I was better. I was free. During months 2 and 3, I started handling the wedding cancellations. I called vendors and canceled everything. Lost some deposits. Got some refunds. I sent an email to all the wedding guests. "Due to unforeseen circumstances, the wedding is canceled. Thank you for your understanding." I did not elaborate. People could guess what happened. I returned the wedding gifts we already received. Then I sold the engagement ring online. I originally paid $4,200. I sold it for $2,800. I used the money for a weekend trip to Bend, Oregon. Solo hiking. Mountains. Fresh air. Solitude. It brought me clarity. I realized something important on that trip. I had not just lost Madison. I lost the version of myself who ignored red flags, who made excuses for her behavior, who did not trust his own instincts. That person was gone. The new version of me paid attention, trusted my gut, did not settle for less than I deserved. 3 months after everything happened, Madison made one final attempt to reach me. She sent a letter through Mrs. Patterson. It was the only way left to contact me. The letter was long and handwritten. She apologized profusely. She explained that she was scared of commitment. Derek pursued her, and she felt desired. She realized now that I was the one. She begged for a second chance. She said she was in therapy. She broke up with Derek completely. She wanted to rebuild trust. I read the letter once. I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, no temptation to respond. I wrote a single line in reply. "I wish you well. But the answer is no." Colton. I sent it through Mrs. Patterson. I did not keep Madison's letter. I shredded it. That chapter was closed. 6 months later, I am still working as a 911 operator. I got promoted to senior operator. Now I train new hires. I am still single and not rushing into anything. I went on a few dates, but nothing serious yet. That is okay. I learned valuable lessons from everything that happened. Lesson 1. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. All those red flags I ignored were valid. I should have trusted my instincts. Lesson 2. Self-respect is non-negotiable. No relationship is worth losing yourself. I could have confronted Madison, screamed at her, begged for an explanation. Instead, I handled everything with dignity. I am proud of that. Lesson 3. How you handle a crisis defines you. I stayed professional during the worst call of my life. I took action instead of falling apart. That is real strength. Lesson 4. Closure comes from within. I did not need Madison's apology. I did not need her to understand why we were done. I made my own peace. Sometimes I think about that night, hearing her voice on the 911 line. How surreal it was. How painful. But also how it freed me. It saved me from a much bigger mistake. If she had not called that night, we would be married now. I would probably still be in the dark about her affair. The universe has strange ways of protecting you. Madison doing the worst thing possible became the best thing that could have happened to me. I am grateful now, not for the pain, but for the clarity, for the freedom, for the chance to find someone who will actually deserve me. Someone who will not call 911 for another man. Someone who will call me when things go wrong. Because they say some 911 calls save lives. That one, it saved mine. So let me ask you this. Have you ever had to walk away from someone you loved because you loved yourself more? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear that self-respect always comes first. And subscribe because I have more stories about finding strength in the hardest moments. Thank you for listening. I hope my story reminds you that you deserve someone who chooses you every single time. Stay strong out there. Hey, you are worth more than you know.